There's something most people will never say out loud, but if you understand it, it can save you from wasting years in the wrong relationship. When a woman is mentally checking out or preparing to cross a line, it doesn't happen overnight. It's not dramatic like in movies. There's no sudden disappearance, no obvious confession. Instead, it starts with subtle shifts, small phrases, harmless sounding words, things that feel normal on the surface, but underneath, they slowly create distance, confusion, and doubt. And the most dangerous part, these words are often so well crafted that you end up questioning yourself instead of her. Today, I'm going to break down 4 common phrases that often show up right before a relationship starts falling apart. Not because every woman who says them is cheating, but because these patterns reveal emotional disconnection. And at the end, I'll tell you exactly what to do if you notice these signs, because your reaction in that moment matters more than you think. The first phrase, "I just haven't been in the mood lately." At first, this sounds completely reasonable. Life gets stressful, people get tired, emotions fluctuate, so naturally, you believe it, but here's what most people miss. When someone genuinely cares about you, even during stress, they still seek connection. Maybe not intense passion, but closeness, comfort, warmth. They still want to sit next to you, talk to you, feel safe with you. But when that connection disappears completely, not just intimacy, but even basic affection, that's when you need to pay attention. If she avoids touch, pulls away from hugs, stops showing any kind of physical closeness, it's no longer just about mood, it's about emotional distance. And here's the uncomfortable truth: desire doesn't just vanish, it shifts. If someone suddenly has energy for everything else, new routines, new confidence, more attention to appearance, but nothing for the relationship, that imbalance says a lot. The second phrase, "I just want to focus on myself right now." This one sounds healthy, mature, even admirable. Personal growth is important. Self-improvement is a good thing. But there's a difference between growing with someone and slowly separating from them. Real growth in a relationship brings both people closer. It includes communication, shared effort, mutual understanding. It sounds like I'm working on myself and I want us to get better together. But when growth becomes isolating, when you're pushed out of that journey, that's a different story. If your presence starts feeling like an obstacle, if your support isn't welcomed, if every attempt to be involved is met with resistance, then it's not just self-growth anymore, it's emotional separation. And sometimes people create that distance so their next step feels easier. Less guilt, less conflict, less responsibility. The third phrase, "You're being too controlling." Now let's be clear. Control in a relationship is unhealthy. But here's the key question. Are you actually being controlling or just asking normal questions? There's a big difference. Healthy relationships include basic curiosity and transparency. Where were you? Who were you with? What's been going on lately? These aren't attacks. They're normal check-ins. But when simple questions suddenly trigger strong reactions, when you're labeled as insecure, toxic, or suffocating just for wanting clarity, something isn't right. Because someone with nothing to hide doesn't feel threatened by honest questions. They respond calmly. They explain. They reassure. But someone who is hiding something often flips the situation. Instead of answering, they make the question the problem. They shift the focus onto your behavior. So you stop looking at theirs, and over time, this creates a dangerous pattern. You stop asking questions, you start doubting yourself, and you begin apologizing for things that were never wrong to begin with. The fourth phrase, "I just want us to be honest with each other." This one sounds perfect. It feels like everything a relationship needs: openness, communication, truth, but sometimes it's not about honesty, it's about control. Here's how it usually plays out. After this conversation, she starts asking you deeper questions about your past, your feelings, your fears, your insecurities, and you open up because you think this is building trust. But when you try to ask the same in return, suddenly it becomes a problem. Now it's too much. Now it feels like pressure. Now you're overthinking. So what happens? You become fully transparent while she becomes selectively open. You share everything. She shares only what she chooses. and the balance of the relationship shifts without you even realizing it. That's not real honesty. Real honesty is mutual, natural, consistent, not something that benefits only one side. So, what should you actually do if you notice these patterns? First, don't panic and don't jump into arguments trying to prove a point, because you can't fix confusion with more confusion. Instead, step back and observe. Watch actions, not just words. If she says she's not in the mood, look at her overall behavior. Is she still emotionally present? If she's focusing on herself, does that growth include you or exclude you? If you're being called controlling, ask yourself honestly if your questions were reasonable. If she wants honesty, notice if communication is truly improving or just becoming one-sided. Patterns reveal truth more than explanations ever will. And most importantly, trust your instincts. If something feels off, don't ignore it. Your intuition picks up on small changes, tone, energy, behavior that logic sometimes tries to explain away. You don't need to become paranoid, but you also shouldn't become blind. The right relationship won't make you feel like a detective. It won't force you to constantly question reality. It won't punish you for wanting clarity. The right person makes things feel clear, not confusing, simple, not complicated, safe, not uncertain. At the end of the day, you deserve a relationship where communication is real, effort is mutual, and connection doesn't feel like something you have to chase. Because the moment you start begging for basic honesty, that's usually the moment something has already changed.